Welcome back everyone to another episode of Mini's Mod Marvels. Today we'll be picking up the long-awaited part 3 of Krakens Better Dinos, the Medium Dino Edition. As with previous videos, the description will include a link to the mod as well as timestamps for all the creatures included in today's video. So let's get to it. The Ankylosaurus. Starting today's lengthy list, we've got everyone's favorite metal harvester, the Anky, which now has two forms, its normal and tech version. The Ankylo will now receive reduced overall damage, as well as a neat feature of returning 10% of melee damage inflicted back to its attacker. Tamed Ankys will now auto-gather up to 75% of their inventory weight and resources, and have a 75% weight reduction for obsidian. They will also drop a new resource called Tough Hide, which can be used to produce Valerian Rains. The Carbonemys. This shell puppy has had its swim speed as well as swimming rotation greatly increased. You'll also find that they're now useful in the way that they are immune to those annoying jellyfish things that take out so many others. Speaking of jellyfish, Carbonemys now act as swimming refrigerators for that deadly biotoxin, and will keep toxin stored for much longer until you're able to get it back to safety. The Carnotaurus. Carnos have been provided a build-up charge attack similar to rhinos, which not only makes them faster, but also makes it so that they cannot be stopped by trees, and will inflict bleed and a knockback on any target unfortunate enough to get in its way. They've also seen a bit of a boost to their attack. The Castoroides. A rather simple change to our favorite paddle hamster. They can now auto-gather wood while on wander. The Deinonychus. These beautiful peacock raptors have had their base health increased and have properly colorized bodies. The Direwolf. These doggos can now sport a fancy saddle, adding just a bit of extra protection. The Doedicerus. Roly-polies can now harvest berries by pressing C. Their roll-turn radius as well as speed has also been improved upon and would destroy any foliage in the way. Doeds now have a handy feature to craft stone structures within their saddle, making building a house that much faster. You'll also find they now take an overall reduced damage to their main body, while their head and legs have become more vulnerable. Tired of becoming over-encumbered with sand while trying to survive the desert? Well, now sand has also seen a great weight reduction of 75%. And lastly, Doeds will now passively gather up to 75% of their body weight and resources. The Gallimimus. These chicken mimics have seen a few changes with Krakens Better Dinos. You'll find that when it comes to transportation, they have seen an improved turning radius as well as reduced fall damage. Galleys now have a flock feature. Each one will receive a 10% boost to their speed and 3% boost to their damage per galley in the flock, with a maximum of 5 members. You'll also find that you can boulder these bad boys again and carry them off into the sunset with your death pigeon for easier taming or killing. The Gasbag. These fartapillars are now capable of harvesting berries. They've also seen a reduction to their fall damage and can be equipped with the Valerian Rains. Gigantopithecus. Murder monkeys are now even more deadly, as they have been provided a means of evolution by being able to not only wield tools and weapons, but also wear the new ape armor. Bored of traditional turrets? The Gigantopithecus now has a deadly turret mode when provided with proper ammunition. And by proper ammunition, I'm talking about exploding barrels as well as the comedic barrel of monkeys. You'll also find that the Bigfoot now has a chance to gather long grass and citronelle from berry bushes. And lastly, they've been provided a gardening mode, which, when paired together with the KBD dung beetle, can make excellent gardening companions. And they've also increased the spoil timer of the vegetables that they collect. The Griffin. These beautiful feathered lions are now breedable and have seen improvements to their basic attack, dive velocity, and rotation rates, while particle effects, which cause more strain on your server performance, have been removed entirely. Like the Anky, the Griffins have also been provided a tech variant as well. The Mantis. You're now able to tame Mantis with exceptional kibble rather than having to fell massive death worms just to get one of those critters on your side. You'll also notice that they now have a 40% weight reduction on all resources and have been provided a means of jumping normally. Megaloceros. The stud deer has been given the ability to inflict bleed with his deadly antlers to attackers, which lasts 5 seconds with every hit. Female deer have grown a nice pair of antlers themselves to hide the ugly nubs that they have with their vanilla counterparts. You'll also find that you can milk the female deer for mammalian milk every 30 minutes. Feeding them has also become much easier, as both male and female deer can now gather their own berries. Megalosaurus. Sleepy dinos have had a variety of improvements, such as reduced daytime debuff, increased max sleep debt, and reduced sleep debt gain. These night predators have also been given the ability to see with night vision by pressing X. Morellatops. Water camels have had their stomp attack increased to 38, as well as an increase to their water tanks to 1,000. You'll also find that their headbutt attack no longer stops their movement. And utilizing them, along with the Gigantopithecus and the dung beetles, they have the ability to water nearby crops directly from their own water reservoir. Pachyrhinosaurus. These gassy trikes have been given a 20% weight reduction for wood and 4 unique pheromone effects. To assign a pheromone effect, simply open the radio menu for the Pachy and assign one of the following effects to either right-click or C. Lower-level players will also be pleased to discover that they now have a single cedar saddle, which is useful early on. Procoptodon. Kangaroos can now be bulled and carried by Argies. The Roll Rat. Like the Doed, these guys have seen an improvement to their turn radius and acceleration. You'll also find that they will passively gather all types of wood, and like the Pachyrhino, you can find a lower-leveled saddle. Just keep in mind, without the cage, you'll be unable to use its roll ability. Styracosaurus. A more traditional kind of trike, these guys have had their attack scale with melee and will inflict a bleed and stunning effect to targets. When its head and horns are attacked, 20% of the damage inflicted will be reflected back to its attacker. Triceratops. These guys are 30% bigger than their vanilla counterpart and have also seen a 50% stat and attack boost as well, making them formidable allies. Their attacks will also inflict armor-piercing damage, which scales with melee and have a bonus damage depending on the mass of their target. The bigger they are, the more damage they'll receive. Trikes have also been provided a stomp attack with C. And when paired with other Krakens better dino trikes, can taunt a target. Like our last entry, they too can reflect 20% of damage inflicted upon their horns. And the last and my personal neat feature of the Triceratops is the ability to equip it with a beautifully sculpted platform saddle. The Tropeo. Metal grinders have seen improvements to their flight rotation, as well as the ability to sprint in the air and walk backwards while grounded. Like a few previous entries, these guys have been provided a lower-level, primitive version of their saddle, which does not have the cannon equipped. The Unicorn. And last but certainly not least, unicorns have seen so many amazing improvements. First, you'll find that they have had their size increased by 10% and an overall improved appearance with purer white hair, as well as a variety of horn colors. Speaking of colors, did you know these unicorns can now be bred to have color mutations? Yeah, I'm loving it. Not only that, but unicorns have also been provided the ability to magically transform into a Pegasus by pressing C. This uses a new mana system, which not only gives it the ability to fly, but also provides a health regen to nearby allies. The wings can be cancelled at any time with the simple press of G, but will automatically go away if its mana is completely depleted. And that concludes this part of Krakens Better Dinos. I want to thank you again not only for your patience, but your continued support. The holidays, as well as other projects, had put a lot on my plate, so getting to this episode did take longer than I had intended. It's thanks to people like you reaching out that I found myself picking this up again. So don't forget to like and subscribe to continue to see more content, as well as let me know if there are mods you're curious for me to review once I finish Krakens Better Dinos. I love to focus on roleplay mods and overall quality of life mods, so I'd be happy to have a look at others. With that out of the way, I hope you all have a very wonderful day, and I will see you next time.